You meet someone who instantly feels different. They're funny, easy to talk to. You text every day. You laugh at the same jokes. You stay up late talking about life. Soon, everyone around you assumes you're dating. Even strangers think you're a couple. But neither of you has actually said anything. Somewhere along the way, your feelings quietly become something more. You imagine what dating them would be like. You think maybe they feel the same. Then one day, they smile and say, "I'm so lucky to have a friend like you." After hearing those words, you convince yourself not to overthink it. Maybe they didn't mean it that way. After all, they still text you every morning. They send you funny memes. They ask how your day is going. They even call you when they're feeling sad. Sometimes they lean on your shoulder. Sometimes they hold your hand for just a second. Every small moment gives you hope again. But whenever someone jokes that you're dating, they immediately laugh and say, "Ew, we're just friends." You smile on the outside, but inside, something changes. For the first time, you wonder if you've been imagining a future that only exists in your own mind. In that moment, your heart sinks. You realize you're reading every signal differently than they are. After that conversation, you decide not to give up. You think maybe you just need to show them how much you care. So you become the person who's always there. You help them study before exams. You listen whenever they have a bad day. You bring them coffee before class. You remember their birthday, their favorite snack, their favorite movie. You believe that if you're patient enough, one day they'll finally see you differently, but while you're trying to become the perfect partner, they're simply enjoying having the perfect friend. That's when you begin to understand something painful. Being kind isn't the problem. Caring isn't the problem. The problem is expecting kindness to automatically become romance. Sometimes, a friendship is exactly what the other person genuinely wants, and no amount of effort can change how someone truly feels. Then one ordinary afternoon, everything changes. You open social media. At first, it's just another photo. Then you notice who's standing beside them. They're smiling, holding hands, looking happier than you've ever seen. Suddenly, every late-night conversation, every coffee, every favor, every moment you thought meant something, feels completely different. They never led you on. They never promised a relationship. You simply hoped friendship would eventually become love. It hurts, more than you expected. Not because they chose someone else, but because you finally realize you were holding on to a future that only existed in your imagination. And sometimes, acceptance is the first step toward moving on. And now, reality finally catches up with your expectations. For a while, everything reminds you of them. The cafe where you always met, the songs you shared, the late-night conversations. It feels impossible to move on. But one morning, you make a decision. Instead of waiting for a text, you go for a run. You start working out. You reconnect with old friends. You focus on your studies. Slowly, your days stop revolving around one person. You realize healing doesn't happen overnight. It happens one small choice at a time. You still care about them. But now, you're finally learning an important lesson. The happiest version of yourself should never depend on one person's feelings, because your life is bigger than one relationship, and your story isn't over yet. Months pass. Life slowly becomes normal again. You're happier, more confident, busier than ever. One afternoon, you unexpectedly run into them. The conversation feels different. There's no pressure, no hidden expectations, just two people catching up. For the first time, you aren't secretly hoping they'll change their mind. You realize something surprising. Moving on didn't mean forgetting them. It meant letting go of the version of them that only existed in your imagination. Sometimes, the best ending isn't getting the relationship you wanted. It's becoming the person you were always capable of being. Because once you stop chasing someone else's approval, you finally start building your own happiness. Looking back, you realize the friend zone wasn't the worst thing that happened to you. It was the expectations you created. They never lied. They never pretended. They simply saw you as a friend. And that's okay. Real relationships can't be forced. They can't be earned with gifts. They can't be traded for kindness. Love only works when both people genuinely choose each other. Once you understand that, you stop chasing people who don't feel the same, and you make room for someone who eventually will. Maybe being friend-zoned wasn't the end of your story. Maybe it was the lesson that prepared you for the right relationship. Sometimes losing the wrong person is exactly what helps you find the right one. And when that day comes, you'll be glad you kept moving forward. Life keeps moving. New classes begin. New opportunities appear. New people enter your life. This time, you aren't looking for a relationship, you're simply enjoying life. Then, one ordinary day, you meet someone new. The conversations feel easy. The laughter feels natural and unlike before. You don't spend every moment wondering if they like you, because the connection feels effortless. For the first time, it feels like both of you are walking toward each other. That's when you finally understand. The right relationship doesn't leave you constantly guessing. It doesn't make you chase. It doesn't make you prove your worth. It grows through honesty, mutual effort, and shared feelings. Sometimes, the best thing that ever happened to you was the relationship that never happened. Looking back, you finally understand what the friend zone really taught you. It wasn't about rejection. It wasn't about losing someone. It was about learning that love can't be forced. The right person won't make you question your value. They won't leave you wondering where you stand. They'll choose you because they genuinely want to. And you'll choose them for the same reason. Sometimes, the people who aren't meant to stay lead you toward the people who are. In the end, the friend zone didn't ruin your story. It simply redirected it, and that made all the difference. Everyone gets rejected at some point. Everyone experiences heartbreak. Everyone meets people who don't feel the same way. That's part of being human. But your worth has never been decided by one person's feelings. Keep growing. Keep learning. Keep moving forward. Because one day, someone won't see you as just a friend. They'll simply see you as the right person. Sometimes the best relationships begin only after you stop chasing the wrong ones. This was Why It Sucks to Be Friend-Zoned.